so basically we have over 800 team members all around the world, and most of them are actually working in exchange for stock options in the company. So this allows us to be very, have a very low burn rate. We don't rely so much on funding. We are able to innovate very fast. We're able to work with different partners. They bring in the expertise. We're creating teams around them. So these 800 people are actually organized in different teams, somewhere in between 3 to 7 people. They're working on due dates and have the deliverables. So it's a completely new structure of company. We have 60 full-time employees at the moment. These 60 people are managing the 800, so we have roughly, each employee has 10 to 15 people that are taking care of contributors. In addition to that, we have roughly, I think, 48 companies which are doing the same thing, so they are bringing their expertise. So we don't need to reinvent everything, right? We don't need to hire someone who knows a little bit about vacuum and needs to study the vacuum technology. But we're working with, for example, Label Vacuum, which is the inventor of the vacuum pump. So we have a team of over 30 people at our disposal whenever we want.
Do your employees and contributors have some guarantees or insurances that let's say one day you just want back your all the knowledge, all the know-how, and go away without any compensation?
There's a legal system that avoids that such things happen. Of course, fraud is always an issue. If someone wants to do something bad, they will, and then again, there's a judge, etc. So you go to jail for those kind of things, and it's the same thing here. I mean, there's a company. The company owns the IP. The company is owned by us, the investors, the team that's working, and they're getting the stock options in exchange. So that's really the core. So it's the values in the company, the knowledge is in the company as well. The IP is transferred into the company, so everybody who's contributing is making the value of the company grow, which they're getting a participation of. So, there's always a chance that things don't work out. You can never give a guarantee. But I would say that from a legal structure, in terms of that what we do is there, and what you're receiving and what you're giving, that's pretty clear and straightforward. So we have a small office here in Bratislava right now. The team that's working there is mostly involved in the capsule development. So that's the main goal right now. They're heavily involved with the people that are in Toulouse and are developing parts of it.
How big is the team?
So right now in Slovakia, I think we have 4 people. We did the study. We now have a project proposal what to do in Slovakia with the government. So all the recent changes didn't make it very easy for us to operate in Slovakia because they're afraid of criticism in general. So again, we have a proposal that's with the government, and we're waiting to hear back. It's mostly about actually creating the resources necessary here in Slovakia. So an investment from our end together with the government. So we work now with several governments around the world and are doing similar structures where we invest our resources and our money into the regions, and we're receiving the support from the government. But again, in Slovakia, it has been a very, very long process. The government, they can't promise you anything officially, at least, right? So you have discussions, and they're trying to guide you a little bit. Initially we had really great support. Right now, all the capsule development, all the composite materials done by Cabures in Spain. That's really where everything is moved there. I'm not completely sure, because I'm not managing all the partnerships, which Slovakian companies. I know we have several contributors in Slovakia. The team is working constantly together with Slovakian contributors. We did some collaboration with universities here. So there are ongoing projects. We're using existing technologies, so technologies that has been around for quite some time and has already been developed and prototyped. So what we have been doing over the last 5 years is basically integration of that technology, so bringing it all together, which is a big task. And now the biggest hurdle is to create the regulations. So we're working with safety institutes, we work with Munich Re, which is our partner when it comes to insurance. So they're the largest reinsurance company in the world. They did a risk report saying that they're able to insure our system.
I'd like to ask if Elon Musk is in some sort of contact with this project.
Elon Musk was a person who proposed the idea back in 2013, and at that time he said that he was too busy with Tesla and SpaceX. He wanted someone else to pick it up, and that's when we started. We used our completely new way of building a company basically to start the project off. Elon is supporting the movement, and because at the end we realized that it takes more than just being a company, it takes a movement to make something like this happening, and that's what it is today. You have several companies around the world, you have universities around the world working on the Hyperloop. You hear about it all the time. He started the SpaceX competition, so to work with the students, and is now doing the Boring company, which is working on tunneling for the moment. But directly with us, he's not involved.
In terms of technologies, and so in this project?
So technology-wise, it's definitely integration, because the technology already exists. So bringing it all together is something that takes some time. Safety is a very high aspect. You're building a completely new mode of transportation, so you need to build something that is as safe as possible. And in fact, the system is roughly 10 times safer than an airplane. It just has 10 times less failure modes. The biggest obstacle, as I mentioned earlier, is creating a new legislative framework. So the new laws and regulations that are necessary in order to commercialize the system.
What is the financial scheme of your business?
We are a very unique business, so we definitely plan some kind of public offering to give our community the opportunity to be part of it very early on. However, right now the markets are not very favorable to do anything, and there's a lot of new alternatives. When you look into the area of crowdfunding, new regulations, even ICOs that will be defined over the next couple of years, I would think. So it's going to be much clearer what we might want to do there. Right now at this time, we have plenty of private investors interested in being part of the project, and it's our goal to be profitable very soon.
Will be the adverts.
The virtual and augmented windows are not only, they are not meant to display ads. It's more about creating experiences and be able to monetize these experiences. So really giving the illusion like you're looking outside of a window, and being able to bring you into a virtual world. So a different world, and in this world, you can experience something different. So you can go through Jumanji, right? And now you're going through the different stages of Jumanji, for example, or any other virtual experience. So for you, it's an experience, but for the transportation company, it's a way of generating income, right? Because maybe it's an advertising for a movie, but rather than just being something like, hey, here, come look at this, it's really something that creates your attention, that's funny, that's entertaining. So it's a mix.